Laura Mignott, co-founder of Digital Flash. I am so excited to have a great conversation with Anna Mahony from Uber out here in Jersey. So Anna, tell us, who are you at Uber? What's your role?
Sure. So I am the general manager for Uber New Jersey, which basically means I'm responsible for the experience that everybody has on the rider and the driver side here in New Jersey.
Awesome, love it. Been using it a lot recently as a New Yorker in Jersey for a bit. So what's been happening in Uber recently that would be kind of cool to hear about from this crowd, because we probably don't know about it yet?
Sure. Well, yesterday we made a big announcement, actually. We announced that we have an autonomous vehicle roaming the streets of Pittsburgh. So that's probably the biggest news that we have right now. We're incredibly excited because...
So self-driving?
Yes, there's a human behind the wheel right now, but it's exciting because of the impact that autonomous vehicles can potentially have. Today, there are well over 1 million people that die every single year from auto-related accidents, many of which are due to human error. And so if you think about what you could do by having, by decreasing the impact of these cars on the road, you could just start to save thousands of lives. The second piece is that if you can build a system where you have fewer cars on the road, or more button seats, as we like to think, then what you ultimately do is you start having fewer cars on the road. So fewer parking lots or fewer cars in garages, and you start to save a lot of money for a lot of individuals as well.
So less cars, far more safe.
Yes.
Fantastic. So you guys have grown so huge. I remember when I first heard about Uber, and I was like, really? And now you guys are amazing. What's been the kind of secret sauce behind that?
So I'd say it's two things. One is that we have a core belief that nothing is ever good enough. And so every single day, we just have teams of people that are looking at the same concept, right? This concept that you can get a car or a ride at the push of a button, which was thought of over 5 years ago, and we started to deliver it then. But the way that we deliver it today is very different. Instead of it being a product that is a luxury service available at a higher end price point, our goal and our concept is to have a ride available to anyone within 5 minutes anywhere in the globe. And so the way that we've been able to do that is by shifting the perspective, but also by having a team of people that every single day just believe that the product is not good enough, and they're looking at data and they're figuring out how can we make this better. And then the second piece of it is that we are always looking for big, bold bets, right? So what else can we do to really think about where the world needs to go and how we can improve? And so that's where we think about if the world is moving towards autonomous vehicles, which we know that it is, how are we investing to make sure that we have the best vehicles on the road for that? And we're also thinking about, if you can get a person in a car and get them from point A to point B, what else can you put in a car and get it from point A to point B? And so that's where you start to see some of the other products that we have, like Uber Eats or Uber Rush. And I think there's a world in which you actually have somebody getting picked up, right, and dropped off, and you have a piece of food that's getting picked up and dropped off with them at the same time.
Awesome. I've been seeing a lot more fun things happening, and it's so exciting. So can you tell us about the regulatory side of the universe, so the evolution of that? We've seen you guys have done a really great progress in Newark. What's been happening there?
Yeah, so I think one of the challenging things about building technology or disrupting an industry is that oftentimes the innovation or the technology, it very much precedes the change in regulatory structure. And so we have a lot of work, and we put a lot of focus into just working to help evolve what the regulatory world looks like. And so in New Jersey, that means that we spend a lot of time working with local municipalities and also people at the statewide level to catch things up. And we're proud of what we were able to do in Newark. A few weeks ago, we signed a contract that clearly states how Uber can operate there, and given that it's one of the biggest cities in New Jersey, it's something we're very proud of.
Fantastic, big win. So as I understand it, there are towns in New Jersey right now that are now essentially paying Uber, people to take Ubers and get home safe and sound without drunk driving?
Yeah, so a few months ago, we started a program that was launched in Evesham, where the local municipality or the local government, thanks to the mayor, Randy Brown, is fully subsidizing all Uber rides home that start or end at a bar or restaurant in the community and get people to their homes. It was a first of its kind partnership in the globe. It's now also being done in neighboring town of Voorhees and also in Old Bridge. And we're really excited about it because what that means is that the cities are taking proactive steps to reduce drinking and driving. And just in Evesham alone, since they launched the program, DUIs have gone down by 55%. And we're seeing that replicated elsewhere. So a few months ago, we also did a program with the city of Summit, New Jersey, where for the weeks leading up to New Year's Eve, they did a similar thing, where it's $5 flat rates for any single town or for any single ride that started and ended in their town. And they, for the first time in a few years, had 0 DUIs that took place. Zero. And
Wow.
so, yeah, we're super happy about that. The police chiefs are aggressively working with us to figure out other ways that we can do things. We're also working a lot with other community groups that aren't necessarily municipalities, but we recently launched a partnership with Hackensack Hospital to help people that have recurring medical treatments get home from the hospital to them. So if you think about so one of the problems that they're trying to solve is we have these cancer patients that have to come in for these ongoing chemotherapy appointments, and they can't necessarily drive themselves home, but they don't always have somebody that can drive them home. And so we've fully integrated our app with their hospital so that the drivers can, well, first of all, they're subsidizing the rides home. And
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And second of all, when the rider requests or when the patient requests the ride, they can say, I'm at the cancer center, I'm at the children's hospital, I'm at the emergency room, and we have signs outside, and there are hospital workers helping the people that just came out of their treatments get into the vehicles.
That's amazing. And that's officially started now.
Yes.
Wow. So what's the magic that helps an Uber stay ahead of the curve?
It's a good question. So I think we at Uber, we're always trying to figure out, like, how can we continue to grow and how can we do more? And I think one of the things that really builds the company to get there is some of the cultural values that our CEO, Travis Kalanick, put in place. And there's 2 of them that I think really help us here in New Jersey, and that is certainly on our team we abide by. The first is just what we call celebrate cities. So it's thinking about how can what you're doing really be the best experience for the people in your town. So for example, in New Jersey, we're spending a ton of time prepping for our New Jersey Shore launch next Friday for Memorial Day weekend, and we're super excited and have a whole bunch of things planned for the summer. We also spend a lot of time thinking about how can we make the best experience for a first or last mile home from the train station, from the New Jersey transit stations. Here in New Jersey, 23% of our trips either start or end within walking distance of a transit station, and so we're trying to figure out how can we facilitate those trips so that fewer people need to own cars and can use Uber instead.
That's so cool.
Then the second thing I would just say is that even though we're a really large company, we have another value that's called Let Builders Build. And so what that does is it really celebrates entrepreneurship within a very large company. And so, for example, when it comes to all of these community partnerships, I have a person on my team that was not hired into that role, but said, I want to do this full time. And so I said, that's awesome, run with it. And she actively built a whole department, and all she does is go around and ask policymakers and community groups, how can we bring Uber to help solve your policy problems and make your organizations run better? And so for me, that's a clear example of how you can still be entrepreneurial. You can still be an entrepreneur within a larger organization.
So what's next for Uber?
What's next?
Can you tell us?
Yeah, I think
there's only a few people here. A few thousand, but a few people here.
I think you'll start to see a lot more of what we've touched on today, right? How can you get more people and things moving around cities more efficiently? So we recently launched Uber Pool in New Jersey. It's here in Hoboken, also in Jersey City, in Newark, and I think you can expect some more expansion of that. Maybe we'll bring some other products, and I think for the company more broadly, more big, bold bets such as the autonomous vehicles.
Very, very cool. I'm trying to think of anything else I'd love to ask. I guess a question for you is, why did you pick Uber?
I love how dynamic the company is. We are disrupting an industry. We are solving some really big challenges, and we're placing some big, bold bets. And working at a place where you're trying to think about how can you make the world move more efficiently and better is just a really cool thing to do.
Fantastic. Well, that's all the time I have for you. Well, thank you so much, Anna, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks very much.